Learn to be super successful. Subscribe to my channel, meathead. I got an email last night from a guy, Ireland. You can't do this in Ireland, that's what they say. Today I closed healthcare deal number 2, 4 months and 2 days since your sage advice at the start of Corona. 87.5% seller finance. My sage advice was, would you get me one of my Actifed hay fever pills? Okay, because I forgot to take it when I was. I'm blaming the putting on the shirt, but then I couldn't get the fucking shirt off because I'm choking myself here. Like, and Sally said, "Are you all right? Are you all right? Are you all right?" Anyway, the sage advice I gave this guy was, "You miserable cunt." No, I don't take your calls when you call in panic. I don't. But his I took. I don't know what reason. I don't know if I was feeling sorry. I don't know why, but I did. You miserable fucking cunt. You should have rolled down the inside of your fat, and almost all Irish mothers are fat. Fat mama's leg, thigh. And I said, you're gonna kick yourself in the fucking ass 5 years from now. Because you're used to feeling sorry for yourself, and your wife or your significant other or whatever, and your employee say, oh, it's all right, it's not your fault. It is your fault. During 2008 and 9, nobody I knew went out of business. During, the big financial crash that supposedly happened, I don't know one motherfucker that went out of business. Not one. You know lots. Now, how come I don't know one and you know lots? Because you are who you hang around with. You hang around with cunts, you become a cunt. And I remember once going to a pub in 2009, which I don't normally do, and they're all in the city in London, is the square mile. It's called the city, financial district. And the Romans, that was the original Roman 1 mile wall that they used to have, And they're all sitting there at the pub, and as soon as it's not raining, the Brits go outside in the street in front of the pub. They got tables and shit like that. And you could just walk by a pub, and they're all pissing and moaning and pissing about how tough shit is. That was the first, last, and only time in the last 10 years I went to pub. Because that shit rubs off. Your filthy swine cunt relatives rub off on you. So he called up and he wanted, and nobody pisses and moans better than an Irishman. The more they drink, the more they moan. And piss, actually, because you got to, right? The more but he closed the deal. 87.5% seller finance. Because initially, and he had been negotiating. See, the challenge is you're negotiating with deals. This is if you were negotiating deals pre-Corona. And then let's say it was 80-20, 80% commercial debt, 20% seller finance, seller's note. And then all of a sudden you go back and say, oh, by the way, the world's changed. It's now 100% seller finance. The guy, gal, or entity that you're buying from automatically believes that you've been fucking them around. You've been cheating, lying, and stealing from the very beginning. You had no intention of ever. He forgets about Corona. You had no intention ever to be 80-20, 80% commercial debt, which means he can pull money out, right? And 20% seller finance. So you got, in your little pea brain, that's not a speed bump, that's fucking Mount Everest. Now, I was talking to Sally about it this morning, and I said, because I was telling her about who it was, and she remembered who it was, and I said that I don't even think that way. It doesn't take balls to go back to a guy and say, you're not going to give me any money, you're going to have a seller finance. How does that equate to having balls? But then Sally says, Dan, because you don't think like these other people. They're afraid to do that. That's not balls. Balls is standing down a fucking charging water buffalo and getting run over. That's balls. Life changed. The deal changed. Shit happens. But he closed the deal. Little Irish prick. Congratulations, you little shit. But last night I got emotional because you have no idea how your life changes when you get money. You just don't get it. A few of you made a few shekels. We've made nothing. There's not anybody with any real fucking money in this room. Well, there hasn't been anybody in the seminar room. 2019, I think we had 2 people in the room that had any fucking money. I don't mean money to me, but money to 40, 50, 60, 70 million is not generational wealth by any stretch of the imagination. Now, for you're going to retire to a little fucking house in Yorkshire, but maybe you can live on 40, 50, 60, 70 million. Now, thank you very much. Now, see, we're coronaed up because he put it in a glass, my little pill. I just wanted him to come and fucking give it to me. But anyway, thank you, Edward. Thank you. Is that how the Queen takes pills? Thank you. He said, yes, that's how the Queen takes pills. Oh, by the way, the Bank of England just announced yesterday or the day before, last year, it took 1.7 million in your retirement account to retire with dignity. And this year, it takes 1.97 million to retire. Now, I don't know how you can retire on 2 million. I just don't. On $2 million, pounds, euro, whatever the fuck. So you must be living on what? But some of you must be fucking starving to death. But see, that's because their expectations are low. And when the government, as they say in this, the government tells you that all you need is 2 million. Now, most people don't have 2 million. Most people don't have $1 million in their retirement account. Most people don't have $500,000. But if 2 million is all they're striving for, and they don't tell you is that at 55, 60, or 60, they don't tell you that part, okay? But if that's all you're striving for, I guarantee you, the people are not going to have more than 2 million in their retirement account. You never exceed your most wild expectation. Never. As I said the first day, if you want to make 100 million, you're not going to make 120 million. It's just not going to happen. So when I was screaming and yelling at you guys last night, I thought, they just don't get it. I can see in their eyes. They don't get it. And only those who risk, and so I redid all the fucking slides. I took out 400 slides, and the slides you're going to see for the next 2 days are the slides, and I read your shit. I reread some of your your homework. I reread your shit. And we're going to focus the last 2 days on the stuff that you're still sorely lacking. And the bottom line is you're still afraid. You're still risk averse. Some of you are more risk averse than others. Now, you're less risk averse than these assholes watching me on YouTube because you're fucking here. But only those who risk going too far can possibly find out how far one can go. And I've already told you, I've always pushed myself, even as a kid. Fighting bigger kids and all kinds of, I always pushed myself because I wanted to be seen as a real man in my dad's eyes. In hindsight, I see that now. And when he was in his late 80s, early 90s, and we'd sit and talk, I talked more than he did. And he didn't get that I was doing it for him. He didn't get that part. He just didn't. Why? You're already successful. You don't have to do anything to prove to me. But the risk involved, and this Irish kid that I beat up, he went on and he did the deal. But now you're going to come out more or less clean. Now, for those of you March guys that have already been fucking around when I told you not to, is there anything about when you were here for that 1.5 days in March that said, I told you not to use the shit, but I'm going to give it to you anyway, right? I knew, like I took a shit that morning, you were going to go and use it. I knew, because you can't fucking help yourself. Because you're still looking for an easy way out. There are no motherfucking shortcuts. There aren't. So I went back and I looked at my notes. How did it change my life when I did my first deal? The first year I was doing QLA, I paid, my salary was $82,000 a year. That was 1982, which is no money. It's maybe 200 now, but it's no money. The second year, now this isn't the bonus, I'm talking about the salary. The second year I paid myself $200,000. The third year I paid, now the salary, the third year I paid myself $600,000. The fourth year I paid myself $3 million. The fifth year I paid myself $4 million. That was pound sterling, by the way. And I'm not counting the bonuses. Now, the difference between $82,000, and I don't know why it was 82. I really don't. I don't know. But I know it was 82. The difference between 82 and the fourth year, which was $3 million, is a big fucking leap. And I spent every motherfucking penny of it. My backup plan, that I didn't have a backup plan, is I spent 125% of every fucking dime I made. I never wanted to fall back on money in the bank. But the difference between 82,000 and 3 million is a big leap. It changed your life. Actually, up to 600, it changes your life. Because I remember when I started making 50 grand a month as a salary. And remember, you heard one of the people on the webinar, she's paying herself 150 grand, I think she said, a year. Okay. Well, she just got started. But that's not where we make the money. We make the money in the bonuses that we pay, not dividends. Because one of you pays yourself a dividend quarterly in your business endeavors. No. Because dividends mean all shareholders get paid. They're pro rata of the dividend. We're talking about bonuses. Bonuses are divvied up and given out at the discretion of the board. And you're the majority shareholder, so you're going to get, you have not more votes on the board, but you, as I told you, you can change boards, you can get rid of boards and start over again. So to preclude that guy that you gave 2% that you can't get the shop back from, he doesn't get anything until you exit. But I've seen it change lives. Not just Josh with his fucking plane and shit, race car. And he needs $1 million race car like he needs a third dick. But you have no idea. You don't know anybody. You've never talked to any. All you do is you talk to the fucking bums that you hang around with. The bums you hang around with. And your family are the worst. They're fucking worst. Now, another thing. Remember I told you it's going to get a lot worse. Right? Is there anybody that doesn't understand it's going to get a lot fucking worse from my lips? Yesterday, in his infinite wisdom, the governor of New York, Governor Cuomo, begs wealthy New Yorkers to come home to save ailing city. New York City is going to go bankrupt. It's over. It's through. And if New York City goes down, what the fuck's going to happen to the rest of the world? You have no idea how bad it's going to get. Sally says it's going to get if it gets worse than I think it's going to get, it's going to be Armageddon. But it's terrific for us. It's terrific for us. But for those of you that have bleeding hearts, and there's a lot of you, in fact, most of you in this room, everybody understand what bleeding hearts means? Sob sisters feel sorry for other people and shit like that. I don't feel sorry for anybody, let alone myself. But if you feel sorry for yourself, that means you feel sorry for other people. Everybody in this room has probably said one time in their life, life's not fair. I knew it wasn't fucking fair since I'm 3-4 years old. it's going to get terrible. And the little Irish shit that he should have still got, when I talk to him, whenever I talk to him again, I'm going to tell him he should have got 100% owner finance, not 87.5. But he's proud as punch that he got 87.5. In the infamous words of Bruce the Whipple, if you don't ask, you don't get. We're going to spend time this afternoon and tomorrow how you get them to pay you to take their business. Which is no big fucking deal. But I look at your eyes. You don't believe it. The Nazi in the back corner, why would anybody do that? Go shave your head again. Because you never asked them. If you were at the end of the bar at the library, 75 girls, I will bet my life, even numbnuts like you with a 1-inch dick can get a blowjob. Just keep asking them. I will bet my life. I got 2 emails from 2 of the guys that you mentioned on that list of people I trained. Want to do a virtual fuck. No, I don't mean a real fuck. A virtual kind of bullshit with they're morons. They're going back to teaching people how to get laid. Now, see, I find all this amusing. But I haven't had to work in 35 years. And I've been here 35 years. I haven't had this thing. And Allah's will, I don't know why. I almost tore it down 2-3 years ago. We're going to build a swimming pool. I almost tore the fucking thing down because I got tired of looking at it. Because we didn't use it. Okay, back to guys. You don't know. You don't know. And the problem is you don't know anybody that even knows. And the problem is nobody in your family probably, although we've had some wealthy kids in here that are 3rd, 4th, 5th generation wealth, they don't know. They don't know from nothing. Because unless you made the money or you made the money, you don't know. Okay. Now to me, I'd be afraid if I was that. There's some limits. But for my 70th birthday, I went to Red Bull. I wanted to jump out of the fucking thing. You know that midget Stormfucker or whatever his name is that jumped, held the world's record for a short period of time? I wanted to jump. We went, blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, we went and looked at the capsule, and then I couldn't get in the capsule. Just like your shirt. I couldn't even get in the fucking capsule. I can't even get in that capsule. The guy's a dwarf midget. He said, well, we'll build you a new capsule for 10 million euros. I said, fuck you. I'd rather give the Ruskies 20 million and go to the space station. Now, there are limits to my balls. Now, but I was going to do that on my 70th birthday, and I was going to yell down, motherfuck, cunt, you miserable cunt, all the way down. Huh? It takes about 18 minutes to go 234 miles an hour, 234 miles. So you're moving. But they tell me, and I've seen films, and I did a lot of, you don't even think you're moving until you get down and you can see the earth. Then you know you're moving. When all of a sudden Britain goes from this big to that big, it's because you're moving. You're moving. But the people that you're going to go and buy their business from are going to be more afraid of you than you are of them. And don't tell them it's going to be okay. Tell them it's going to get worse. Because it is. More countries are red. The world's fucked. God almighty. They're all running around. I'm not surprised Governor Cuomo is begging people to come back. New York City is through. You can't believe it. It is unbelievable. But it's happening. It's like a sci-fi movie. The only thing we don't have yet is The Walking Dead. Coming down the streets. Yet. I'm not saying we don't. Yet. You had a question.
Yeah, what is the difference between dividends and bonuses? I don't get how it's structured.
That's how the Queen takes it, huh? Shit.
Just follow on to that question and relating the taxes.
Well, let me answer the tax question first. Bunker Hunt, which I had the privilege of being in business with, Bunky Hunt, the billionaire Bunker Hunt brothers, that were the sons of the original Hunt that found the West Texas oil field, that were the beginnings of Chevron, etc. Said, Danny, if you're worried about paying taxes, you're not making enough fucking money. So I don't worry about paying taxes, but okay. But your question is, okay, you pay yourself $100,000 salary or $1 million, whatever the salary is. You're going to pay ordinary income tax on that. Ordinary income, personal income tax. Pardon? Well, whatever it is, I don't know. Okay. If you live in Florida, no. State tax. This is the United States. If you live in other states, you pay, in addition to your personal tax, you'll pay state tax. Corporate tax is different. Corporate tax is the money you make after and pay to the bottom line after all expenses. Then in Europe it's a pre-tax number. In America it's a post-tax number. It's after tax, and depending on the tax bracket. So a dividend is what paid to you or a company. If you take it in a company, you're paying the regular income tax bracket for that entity. On a bonus, it's like an addition to your salary. So, and the only people that are deemed to get bonuses are people that the board of directors, which is you, deem to pay the bonus. So on every deal, a couple of the guys that you heard yesterday, I happen to be on their board. I'm their chairman, so I've gotten bonuses on deals, even though I tell them I don't want any money. I've gotten bonuses. So I will pay, and the bonuses aren't made out to me because all my income is in a trust, goes to a trust, so it's in the Guthrie Castle trust. So I pay trust tax. In some cases, I don't pay any tax. But they're two different. One is personal income tax rate, and one is corporate income tax rate. But don't worry about that. If you're worried about that, you can tell you've been poor. Another thing that differentiates, I can tell when somebody's at a table or you go to a cocktail party, not now, and they stand around having drinks, right, and they're talking about taxes, blah, 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 and they're talking, in America, they're talking about Trump. And here they were talking about, probably the last drinks party I went to was before Boris got elected. And they're worrying about various corporate rates and various personal rates. But the bottom line is that you will dictate how much you get paid vis-a-vis bonuses. You will dictate how much you get paid. And that's where the real money is. And it's not unheard of for a board director like the Viking bitch was talking about yesterday, that this next year, not this year, next year when she's got a whole year to work on deals, it's not, a director, a industry expert, the in-house lawyer, the in-house accountant, to make $400,000 or $500,000. Easy. If he makes $25,000 or $50,000 on each deal and you do 10 deals, that's $500,000. That's no money, but it's $500,000 more than they got paid for any other fucking thing they did. But even the big companies, if you're on the board of British Petroleum, if you're on the board of American Airlines, if you're on the board of Barclays Bank, you're probably getting between $150,000 and $250,000 fee honorarium for being a director. If you attend 4 meetings, let's say it's $250,000, you're making $60,000 a meeting. Plus, they pay for your expenses to get there, not like you're going to do, and they pay for your hotel, and it's a 2-3 day holiday, really, for the old fucks. Okay? So if you're on 4 boards, you can make $1 million. I know guys that are on 12 boards. They make significantly more money being directors of other companies, non-executive directors, than they did when they were working full time. So last night when I'm screening, to go to 80 to $3 million in 3 years. You can't conceive of that. Some of you have net worths of millions. But having net worths of millions on fucking paper and spending millions a year are two different fucking things. There's nobody in this room or has ever been in this room, save one person in 27 years, that even remotely spent a fraction as much money that I spent. We had one guy in 27 years. When you're going out of your way to spend $500,000-$600,000 or pounds a month, it's not easy. You can only have so many toys, so many houses, and I've been there. So many boats, so many planes. I've been there. You got to get a plane, you stand up like a man. For those of you that are going to get a plane, you can stand up like a man instead of the Quasimodo jets. I call them imajets. They imitate being a jet, and the sea goes faster than you. Okay, YouTube, thank you.